Yeah.
I've got 8:28. What about you guys?
8:28.
Give it 2 minutes. Did everybody who'd like to visit with us get signed in?
You want our name on it?
If you want to, that would be great, just so that you show, yeah, just so that you showed you're here, that'd be great.
Well, I just rolled over to 8:30, so welcome everybody. I'm going to call to order the Delta County Commissioners Special Meeting for November 30, 2023. Gentlemen, please remove your caps and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States and to the republic which stands one nation and with liberty and justice. Thank you. Do we have any additions or edits to our agenda?
I have none.
The agenda will stand as presented. In constituent time, anybody in the room like to visit with the commissioners this morning? Anybody online? Hearing none, we're going to move into commissioner business. Robbie?
Thank you, commissioners. This is the public hearing for the proposed 2024 budget. The proposed 2024 budget has been on the website since the initial date when this was put out, October 12th, as well as the revisions. In addition to the proposed budget is the proposed capital improvements in the 2024 Capital Improvement Fund, the proposed use of the highway user tax funds for 2024, which does include funding of our road and bridge department, including the crusher and including our engineer. The highway user tax funds will also be used to upgrade 2100 Road, G50 intersection, final work on North Road, initial work on Cedar Mesa Road 1, as well as 2600 Road, 3100 Road, the 5th and Grand intersection in the town of Paonia, River Ridge Road and Long Gulch, in addition to the chip and seal and mag chloride with a 10% contingency. In addition, the proposed uses for the Secure Rural Schools Act Title III funds, those will continue to go to the Southwest Wildfire Council as they work above Cedar Ridge to harden those properties that are most prone to wildfires. And this will be in coordination with the funds that the U.S. Forest Service is receiving for additional vegetation treatments in that area. So with that, and in addition to the proposed budget that again has been on the website, the public copy has been in the front lobby of 560 Dodge, as well as we have answered numerous questions. I want to thank Jolene, especially during this time when there has been numerous changes. There will continue to be numerous changes with the recent special session. And we will not have final figures for the mill levy based on that special session. However, we will have estimates for the 2024 budget. With that, Commissioner, I will turn it back to you.
Any questions on this, commissioners?
No, I want to extend my gratitude to staff and all their diligence here to get this budget put together. I want to give my condolences to Jolene for having to deal with all the madness created by the state legislature through this process. And extend my thanks to her staff for all their work on this, so.
Thank you very much. I will forward that on.
Yes, and thank you to all the departments for getting their budgets in place and online. Visit with other county commissioners and some like, there's one or two of their departments that have issues with the budgets and but we have a good working relationship with each of our department heads and elected officials, and I think that goes to show that Robbie LaValle can get along with the other departments and the respect that she shows them and the respect that they show her. Also, Jolene and your staff and all this, like Commissioner Supa said, all the madness coming from the state legislature and this special session and getting all the figures and mill levies together so that we can finally have a firm commitment on the money. And thanks again for everybody's hard work. Thanks for the people that are showing up and in the room and for online too. Shows that you're interested in what the county's doing. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen. I did want to go over the timeline as presented yesterday by the state treasurer. Is that correct?
She was the tax.
Tax administrator.
Joanne Goff. Groff.
Yeah, thank you.
Mhm.
In a presentation yesterday morning at CCI, a new timeline from SB 23B001 was proposed. And Jolene, I want to make sure that this jives with what you're hearing.
Okay.
January 3rd is final certification of county assessor by county assessors of values to local governments. Is that correct? January 10th, local government submits levies to the commissioners. January 10th is adoption of budget. January 17th, commissioners certify levies. Then January 24th, tax roll delivered to treasurer as soon as possible. Treasurer sends tax bills.
That's correct.
Okay. That accelerated timeline just looked undoable to me. What do you think?
I think it's a lot better than what it could have been. They were talking about having final cert by the 19th of December. And so they were able to push it out even further. The problem is for the treasurer's side, your first half property tax bills due February 28th, and people are not gonna be getting it and anywhere near 30 days before it's due. But they did put in a provision that if you pay it within 10 days of the treasurer mailing it, even if it's after the 28th, that there won't be a late penalty or interest assessed, which is good, but this is why changing things in the property taxation system affects the entire chain. And usually not in a good way, because we are really strict on our dates and deadlines, and there's a lot of work that goes into it. So, but it is what it is. I'm glad that they did move the dates out as far as they did. I was actually surprised.
They talked also about people prepaying their property tax in December, probably for tax reasons. And that they may or may not get a refund when the tax bill is actually due. Do we have just a handful of people that prepay their taxes?
To my knowledge, there are a handful of people that prepay regularly, but I don't think it's a great number of people who do it.
Any other questions for Jolene? Leona?
So when you said, the adoption of the budget on January 10th, does that mean we're not adopting?
No, that was just a deadline they
For
gave.
the-
They
for
extended
the
the
bill
deadline.
levy, okay.
Yeah, for taxing entities to get their proposed mill levies and budgets to the commissioners.
Commissioners,
Yes.
and that's when I do that mill levy cert on the 10th instead of the end of December. Okay, got it.
Well, that's the date they extended.
Okay.
I personally, I hope we can get it done sooner, because in my opinion, the concept of starting a budget year without a budget adopted
Yeah.
is absolutely moronic.
Thank you.
And like I said, I hope we can get it done before that. That's just the extended deadlines
Okay.
that the legislature gave.
So commissioners don't have to certify the levies until January 17th, but the entities need to get it to them by the 10th so that they can do that process.
Okay.
So we'd open it to the public if there's any questions or input.
This is a public hearing on the budget. We'll open the public hearing up. If you'd like to ask questions, make statements, could we get a chair up by the microphone? Don't worry about it.
Him on the table.
Mr. Cloud,
That gets you in the budget, can't.
Mr. or Mrs. Lightfoot, anything? Mrs. Blair? Thank you. Anybody online? I'll give it another minute in case somebody pops up online or walks in, but.
Just for clarity and maybe make sure it's on the public record yet again that, you know, when the commissioners and Robbie put this budget together, our intention was to remain revenue neutral on these property taxes because of the valuations coming in so high. Our intention is to you know, keep our mill at a point that we're gonna be as close to revenue neutral as possible. Try to help the folks out throughout the county through inflation, which is hitting everybody. You know, we can't guarantee that their property tax dollar amount will stay the same. Just because the fluctuations, evaluations, but we're doing our best to make sure that we're keeping it as close as possible. So that's been a question that's come up quite a little bit since the valuations came out earlier in the spring. And I just wanted to reiterate that yet again. But as a reminder, of all those on the tax bill, the county is only one of them. So.
And it is a smaller proportion percentage wise.
And these other districts, we do not have jurisdiction over where their mill levy is set at, so.
I've tried to pass that information on to department heads throughout the county as much as I can, that when they're looking at other counties and comparing them to Delta, that we do not have a higher property tax bill as other counties do.
Right.
And I think that's important for when we're making budgeting decisions and that kind of thing, that they need to know that. So.
Currently, and this is before Jolene's had an opportunity, we're at a 4.8 mill levy tax credit.
Any other questions, comments? Anything online yet? We're gonna close the public hearing. Anything else before the board this morning? This will be an ongoing process here for the next month, almost a month and a half.
So you will consider adopting the budget 8:30 a.m. on Tuesday, December 5th. At that time, based on the new deadlines, then I would propose we adopt and appropriate, but not set the mill levy.
I think that's a solid approach.
So do I. Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for being here.
Adjourn.
Adjourn the day.